The Letters from Autumn. In a small village nestled between rolling hills and golden forests, lived a quiet man named Thomas. He was a writer, living alone in a cozy wooden cabin with his books and typewriter, writing stories no one ever read. Every morning, he would sit by the window with a cup of tea, watching the leaves change color in the fall, his favorite season. One chilly October day, a letter arrived in his mailbox. It had no return address, just his name written in beautiful cursive handwriting. Inside was a short message. I pass by your house every morning and see you by the window. I don't know your name, but you seem like someone who sees the beauty in small things. Just wanted you to know that someone notices. No name, no signature. Just that. Thomas was stunned. No one had written to him in years. Intrigued, he wrote back, left it in his mailbox, and waited. The next day, another letter came. Her name was Elena. She lived nearby and had seen him for years but never had the courage to speak. And so began a beautiful exchange of letters. Every day, they would share their dreams, thoughts, fears, and favorite poems. Through the letters, they fell in love. Though they never saw each other in person, Thomas felt closer to Elena than to anyone he had ever met. He would write by candlelight, pouring his heart into each word. She would write with pressed leaves and the scent of lavender on every page. Winter approached, and the letters grew more intimate. One day, Elena wrote, "If you feel the same, meet me under the old oak tree by the lake, the morning of the first snowfall." Thomas waited eagerly. Then, finally, one morning, he woke up to find the world covered in white. He wrapped himself in his warmest coat, held her last letter to his chest, and walked to the oak tree. She was there. A woman in a red coat, her cheeks flushed from the cold, holding a letter in her gloved hands. Their eyes met. Neither spoke at first. They just stood in the snow, smiling, both a little breathless. "I hoped you'd come," she whispered. "I would have come through a storm," he replied. They embraced, and it felt like coming home. Years passed. They still wrote letters, even as they shared a home. And every autumn, when the leaves turned gold, Thomas would write Elena a letter and leave it in the mailbox, just to remember how it all began. The light in the library. It all began in a quiet corner of the city library. Emma was a literature student who spent most of her afternoons buried in books, lost in the worlds created by authors long gone. She had a routine: same table, same cup of coffee, same soft smile for the librarian at the front desk. One rainy afternoon, as thunder rolled in the distance, she found someone sitting at her usual spot. A young man with messy brown hair, deep green eyes, and a sketchpad open in front of him. He looked up, surprised, and then smiled apologetically. "Sorry, is this your spot?" he asked. Emma blinked, a little thrown off. "It's okay. I guess it doesn't have my name on it." He chuckled and stood up. "Please, take it. I was just drawing the rain." That's how she met Alex, an artist with a love for stormy weather and a heart full of quiet dreams. Instead of taking back her table, she sat across from him. They talked about books and art, poetry and music, and how some people feel more alive when it rains. From that day on, they began meeting at the library every week. What started as random encounters turned into planned rendezvous. He'd draw while she read, occasionally sketching her without telling. She'd bring him poetry she thought he'd like. Time melted around them, and the library turned into their secret haven. One winter evening, with snowflakes falling like whispers against the windows, Alex handed her a gift. It was a sketchbook, full of drawings of her. Laughing. Reading. Daydreaming. At the very end, there was a single page with bold letters: "Will you be the story I get to tell for the rest of my life?" Tears welled in Emma's eyes. She looked up to find Alex watching her nervously. She didn't speak, she leaned forward and kissed him, soft and sure. Years later, they still went to the library together. Their table remained the same. Sometimes, strangers would see them there, the artist and the dreamer, and smile, not knowing they were watching a love story still being written.